Today's topic is, what do I do if I hit a bug? And unfortunately, if you drive the system hard enough, you will eventually hit some bugs. And the nature of load testing is you're driving your own system so hard that they start to fall over. And that can cause all sorts of horrible situations. So I'm going to take you through what you have to do to open a bug report, a PMR. I gave you a URL right there. You go to that URL, the service request URL, and you'll need an IBM ID to open a PMR, and you can get an IBM ID at the URL that I listed, the second URL I listed there. And you'll need a customer number, which I don't really know how to get because I'm not really a customer, but presumably if you figure out how to purchase RPT, you figured out how to get a customer number. Typically, the support group will need the exported test assets and dependencies because they like to be able to reproduce the problem if possible. And if you open a Sev1 PMR, then you have to be on call for 24 hours. So unless it's really a disaster, you don't want to open a Sev1 PMR. All right, so let me show you a bug that I hit while I was recording these tutorials. I was editing some custom code, and in fact I had been doing a lot of copying and pasting, so you don't really see that here. And so I went to save it, and I got this error message, and when you look at the details, it says it's a null pointer exception. So I decided to use this as a demonstration of how to open a bug report. So the second URL I gave you shows you how to get an IBM ID. And if you don't already have an IBM ID, you click that register button. I already have one, so I'm just going to sign in and show you what the page looks like. And you give it, your contact information because they will contact you typically by email if that's what you ask for, but you can have them contact you by phone as well. And they ask for all sorts of information so they can get to you. So that's what your IBM profile looks, and you use that user ID and password that you create to log in to create a service request. So now I'm logging into the site so I can open a defect report. So I will open a new service request, and what you do there is you say, here's the set of products that I am interested in. And I've already got a list, but let me see if I can find RPT 851. RPT 851 is a new product, and I don't have it in my list, and I don't see that they actually have it as an option. These are not Rational Performance Tester 851. So I already have Rational Performance Tester 85 in my list. I just click on the link. It takes me to the new service request. And you give it a title that will help you identify what the problem is. And then you give as good a problem description as you can. You describe how you hit the problem. And in this particular case, I happen to have a video of it, which is handy, because I'm just going to attach the video because I'm going to show you how to upload a file, which is something you typically have to do when you're reporting a problem because you want to upload your test assets dependencies. I'm making this Sev3 because it's really not that serious. It's not stopping me from getting any work done, but it does make it hard to do a demo. I'm not trying to demo bugs. You pick the operating system, you enter your customer tracking ID, which I'm not going to show you because that belongs to me. To attach a file, you browse to it. and you select it. And I have the recording under my lectures. It was during lecture 5 that I had the problem, and I had the video right there. And after you select it, you say add to queue. And then it adds it to the items that are going to be added to this report. And then you say continue. And make sure you scroll down on this one, because this is your contact information, and there's a continue button. Well, at this point it's a create request button. But if you modify the request, don't forget to go to that screen, because there's a continue button, and if you don't hit that, then you haven't really updated your request. So now we're waiting for the request to be finished processing, and there it is. I have now opened a new service request, and there's the number of the service request, and that'll show up in any emails that I get. So in summary, if you hit a bug, you open a PMR, you need an IBM ID, you need a customer number, and typically support will want your exported test assets and dependencies or some way so that they can figure out how to reproduce the problems. And if you do have a problem that has you stopped dead in your tracks and you need to open up a Severity 1 defect report, then be prepared to be on call for 24 hours.